What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Welcome to a very nasally video. Yeah, just bear with me, alright? I am still sick. I wanted to, however, make a video on this, the Mercedes 300 SLR 722. Now, this is obviously a car that's been added into the game recently with the festival playlist. It is the car that you get once you complete 160 points here, as you can see. And like I said, it's a new car added into the game. I wanted to have a look at this thing because this is a big piece of history, I think, for Mercedes. Back in the day when Mercedes and McLaren came together and made the McLaren Mercedes SLR, you know, coming practically from this with the name, and then they made the 722 SLR as well, again, coming because of this car. And then they made an SLR Sterling Moss, again, because of this car. So I feel like this car has a big part in Mercedes history, and I wanted to take a look at it and see what it's like in the game, and just try it out. I wanted to actually race with this thing and see what it's like. It's not particularly fast. It's a 1955 Mercedes 300 SLR, so it's not like crazy fast. I'll have a look at the specs now as well. This is 310 horsepower, 317 newton meters of torque, 900 kilos. It's like I said, it's not particularly fast in terms of today's standards. Obviously, you have hot hatches that are as fast as this thing, but this was a race car back in the day, a car that was used to do Goodwood hill climb. It was a sick car, and again, like I said, I wanted to actually have a look at this thing and see what it's like in the game and how they've ended up basically interpreting this car's performance and everything in the game. I am still sick, so I'm sorry if I still sound like this, and there could be points in the video where I'll end up just stopping, just to either cough or sneeze or something. So it will end up happening, I'll tell you that now. But I want to do some sort of, you know, either hill climb or toe gear run with this car, just to see what it's like, because I honestly think, even just completely stock like this could be really fun to drive. Again, super thin tires. Old cars like this were always driven pretty much sideways and on the limit, and it's just fun to watch these things go about. And if you've ever watched a Goodwood hill climb, and you see all of these really old cars go about the place and basically constantly being sideways in the corners. I don't know what's happening though with my camera. It just feels like I'm going sideways with the drift cam, and then it just very weirdly resets into the center. I don't know why it does that. Maybe the game's just all glitchy, or the server is. I don't know what's happening. It doesn't matter anyway. But like I said, I wanted to have a look at this thing and see what it's like and what it drives like. And I'll probably have a quick look at this once it's fully upgraded as well. But like I said, if you've ever watched any of the Goodwood hill climb videos or any sort of hill climb videos or racing videos from back in the day, like their tire grip was terrible, and cars like this would always go sideways. Always go sideways, and I always found it really interesting, just to see these people race these things, and they're just constantly sliding around every corner. Now, you know what I thought it would be a good idea to bring it on the Toge, Golden Toge, sorry, track, which you guys should have seen in a bunch of my other videos, where I ended up sort of bringing a bunch of cars here and testing out how fast they go downhill. But again, this isn't just to see how fast this thing can go downhill. I just want to see what the handling is like on this thing once I'm pushing it kind of hard, because like I said, the tires are awful on these cars. They always have been awful, especially comparing them to today's standards, and it's just funny to just take them out and drive them the way they've been driven in the past. Again, these are race cars. These are like old race cars. That's how these cars were driven. But it's a really fun car to drive. The brakes are bad. The tires are bad. I should actually, let me go back. I'm gonna quit event. You know why? Because I'm gonna get rid of ABS. There's no ABS. There's no stability control. There's no traction control with this thing. So there's no point to be even doing any of that. I accidentally quit the event. I should have gone into a restart event, because then I would have been able to actually just change it. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's try that out again. No assists at all. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very interesting. I really do hope that I get this. Oh my god. Yeah, those brakes are poo. They're bad. Those brakes are really bad. The tires are even worse as well. Okay. Okay, well, I found the limit of my brakes already, so... Oh, God. It's actually really fun to try drive cars like this. I think the way I need to sort of steer this into corners is not wait till, like, as late as possible. Try to brake early and then go to the corner sideways. I think that is the way to go about this. Yeah, the tires are bad. The tires are bad, the brakes are bad. It's hilarious as these used to be race cars back in the day. Whereas nowadays, the technology that's changed. Driving, racing, everything. Everything's so much safer. And better. Oh my god, my brakes locked up. Oversteer, understeer. It's real. The suspension's really soft. I mean, you actually need a lot of work to be able to drive this thing properly and try to send it off the cliff here. But it makes it fun. It genuinely makes it fun to try and control this thing. Driving it fast. It's the same with the Auto Union cars or whatever, the old Audi cars in this game as well. There's I think 1 or 2 of them where they have terrible tires and everything, like old, even the Bugatti, the Type 57 and stuff like that, the old race cars. Well, they have super thin tires. Those again, you just see people sending them sideways when they were raced back in the day. It's crazy. It's crazy. Racing used to be so unsafe. Whereas nowadays, as much as possible has been done and will always continue to be done to make it nice and safe for when you're racing. Sure, look at F1. Look at F1 like 10 years ago even. When they didn't have the halos or anything like that, you know? Like, it was just... It was crazy. It was crazy. Like, nowadays, like, you'd see crashes in F1 and the drivers are fine, you know? Whereas before, you'd have cars flip upside down in F1 and you'd be like, this is like really bad, you know? Whereas nowadays, like, you feel at least a little bit more more safe in the F1 cars, or the drivers feel a lot more safe in the F1 cars with the halo and everything like that. And I remember people complaining a lot because of the halo, and it looks ugly and stuff like that. It messes with the aero and all that sort of stuff. And I get it, right? I get that whole fact, but I mean, you have to think about it from the driver's perspective. I mean, it has to be safe. This is crazy to drive. It's so fun. It's really small as well, as you can see. I barely slowed down for that, for the gap there. And as an A-class car, it really isn't bad. It really isn't bad to drive. Again, it just has bad tires. Like, it just wants to go sideways. You see me counter steering every now and then because I can just feel my back end leaving me. I even tapped off the guardrails a couple of times as well earlier on, but there it goes again. Even with slight acceleration, I feel like the suspension being really soft doesn't help either, because like I feel I'm just going sideways into the corners because of the weight transfer. But then again, obviously the best, or the thing that I'm blaming the most is the tires. The lack of grip in the tires. It's crazy. Yeah, it's slow, but it's a fun little experience to bring this thing down the toll gate, the golden toll gate. Yeah, I definitely do want to go ahead and change some stuff on this thing and have a look and see what it's like when it comes to you know, building this thing, just to see what it's like for something else in this game. Because obviously we're in a video game, so I'm not really like gonna try to take this car very, very seriously by keeping it stock and all that sort of stuff. Even though I do like it like this, I feel like it's an interesting drive with this car. Alright, well, very spirited run, I guess. A lot of going sideways. 536. Not bad at all. Not bad at all for, what is it, like a 70-year-old car, which is insane. Cool. Let's continue on with that, and it's not even modified as well. It's not like even at the top of A class. But yeah, I'm gonna do stuff to this thing. I'm gonna modify and change some stuff on it and see what happens. Now, what I think I want to do with this thing is basically just modernize it, make it so it has basically racing brakes, racing tires, proper slick tires. You know, everything that's now modern, right? Race spec. I want to put on this car. I want to do that. So let's do that first. Let's go ahead and change our tires to slick racing tire compounds, right? So modern tires, which brings our grip up by a lot. Look at the state of our handling compared to before. That is insane. Like, our handling goes up by so much. What's my lateral G's? So this is 0.91 and 0.9. I go here and it's 1.15 and 1.14. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Tires, we're stuck at 195s. I mean, the most hatchbacks nowadays are at this. And I mean like base spec hatchbacks. I don't even mean like you know, like hot hatches or anything like that. So they usually have 195s. So let's bring these up to slightly wider. With probably 225s could do well, and then maybe 235s in the rear or something like that could be all right with this thing. Again, I'm not gonna adjust the power of this thing. I think the power should be fine. Track width won't really help too much, apparently. I mean, I feel like it should, right? I feel like it definitely should help the track width, but I guess the track width in the rear slightly helps. I'll leave the track width alone. I'm not going to touch that. Wheels, again, probably super heavy. I don't know, actually that heavy. I'll leave the wheels alone. I'm not going to touch those. So we leave that alone. That's fine. Aero, again, there's absolutely no downforce on this thing at all. I mean, obviously it's built basically with the whole teardrop shape, so basically, you know, really, really thin at the front and having those like rear, what are they called, like buttresses, I guess, behind the driver and the passenger seat, which is pretty cool. But again, aero is a big thing in modern racing cars, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a bit of that for both the front and the rear. Now, since I'm turning this thing into a race car, racing clutch, racing transmission, I'm going to change this thing into a 6-speed, carbon drive shaft, and a race diff. There you go. Now, brakes. The one thing that I didn't like on this thing at all, we're going to give it some carbon ceramic brakes. Do that. And same with the suspension. Some race suspension. This should definitely help a lot with the body roll of this thing. I think it should make a big difference. Weight reduction, I feel like it doesn't really need it with all the parts that we have added onto this thing. I mean, this just brings it to just at the bottom of S1. I mean, it's just almost in A class. Again, I'm trying to get this thing as quick as I possibly can in today's standards, so making it as light as possible would definitely help. A cage would also help a lot with this thing, so I'm going to end up putting a cage on it as well. And that's practically it. Again, I don't really want to change anything here. The intake and throttle body and everything like that, like, again, nothing here interests me. I don't want to add any more power to it or anything like that. I'll put a flywheel in it though. But that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. We spent about 48 grand to get this thing to be lighter and have it have a lot more G's, like lateral G's. And I want to see what the difference is now between what the run was like before and what it is now. And suspension is here. Or not the suspension, the setup is here. I'm going to make this thing so it accelerates a little bit more. I don't actually need a lot of top speed, especially for the toge run. Now, I thought to myself, what's a better way to see how much better this car actually is with all the race parts on it than to bring it over to the cold and toge again. So, that's what I'm doing. Let's test out everything here. From the little bit when I came out of the festival, I can already tell how much grippier this is with these tires. It's much better. Again, still no ABS. Pretty much everything is the same. Oh my god, the brakes. Oh wow. It's completely different. Wow. Wow. I don't even know what else to say. Like, it just feels like a modern lightweight race car. That's exactly what this feels like. Oh man, the difference between this and the way it was before. I mean, even though this is a video game, so you don't have a lot of feeling in what's happening, you know? The grip is just on a different level, and the brakes as well. But what I was trying to say is, like, the difference between the way it was before and now, like, even though this is a video game and you can't actually feel it exactly, it definitely feels different to drive. It definitely feels a lot better to drive. Again, we've upgraded it with modern racing parts, so like the difference between racing parts in 1955 versus nowadays is insane. Like, it makes cars so much faster than what they were like before. I mean, like, technology just came such a long way. Even the way I just set this thing up, well, like, just the basic setup for the diff and the suspension, and it's perfect. A little wide there, that was my fault, but again, I trusted my tires, I trusted my brakes. It's lovely to drive. It's so much faster. Oh my god, the brakes are just the most amazing thing ever now. It still wants to get sideways though if I do push it, but I feel like it just wants to straighten up immediately afterwards, because it catches grip again. Whereas before it would be like, it would just go sideways, and until you let go of gas or until you properly correct yourself, it's gonna stay sideways. Whereas now after this, it's just like, as soon as I catch grip again, that's when it's gonna stop sliding. It's a really good car, seriously. Yeah, the difference is insane. The difference is so clear. I do like this SLR. I really do. It's an interesting test and an interesting little drive, both stock and then upgraded with modern racing parts. It's a cool little experiment. Well, I guess I should really outro the video now. Thank you everybody for watching. I really do hope you enjoy it. I'm sorry if I didn't have the same sort of energy that I do in some of the other videos, or if this is something that you're probably not interested in watching. Well, I guess you probably would have clicked off the video by now, so I don't even know what I'm saying. But anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, and of course, like it, show your support in the video. I'm definitely down to test out some of the other cars in this game, but I mean, we're not really getting many new cars in the game. Even some of these cars, I don't really remember if this car was actually in previous Forza titles. It probably was, but it's a very good car. I did a 454 with it. 455, sorry. We're just in an S1, like very low S1 car, which isn't too bad. Which isn't too bad at all. It's an interesting build. I feel like I could do a similar time, if not just a tiny bit slower time, with this thing being in just straight up A class. But yeah, I could definitely do a better time with some better driving as well. So I just wanted to have a look at this thing because it's such a cool car. I've always loved the 300 SL, and then obviously this is the 300 SLR, and I wanted to have a look at this thing. It's an iconic car, and I had to take a look at it. But that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I guess I'll see you again in the next one. Goodbye everyone.